This video, we're going to talk about Amazon Private Label. Now, Amazon as a platform itself is an amazing platform that has so many opportunities for you to create different businesses that cater to the different services and products that they actually offer on that platform. For this specific video, we're going to talk about Amazon Private Label. Now, essentially what Amazon Private Label is reaching out to suppliers and manufacturers and selling their products under your brand name. So you're essentially having them put your branding on the product, whether it's on the product itself, the packaging, or both, depending on what your budget is. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. So, like I said, instead of creating the product from scratch, the retailer identifies an existing product, and often it's usually one that's already made, and you simply just slap your own product or brand on it. That's essentially what Amazon Private Label is. Instead of selling traditional known brands on Amazon, you're essentially creating your own brand and you're selling it as your own on Amazon Private Label. Now, the reason why this is such a lucrative business model is because first, you have brand control. With private labeling, you can have complete control over your brand. This means you can decide the product quality, the design, the packaging, and the overall branding. Your brand reputation is in your hands. It also has higher profit margins than your traditional ways of selling on Amazon. Now, since you're buying the product directly from the manufacturer and selling it under your brand, the profit margins are generally higher compared to just reselling things, because you're able to buy the product for a cheaper price and then resell it as an established brand. And usually that's a lot cheaper than having to buy an established brand and then resell that existing brand at a higher price point. On top of that, it has a little bit more of an exclusivity to it. Your private label product is unique to your brand. It's the only one in the world. So this means customers won't be able to find the exact same product. This means customers won't be able to find your exact same product branded differently elsewhere. So it gives you an edge in the marketplace. Yeah, there might be similar products to your specific brand, but it's not going to be your brand exactly, which is going to help you stand out. And if you invest in quality branding and marketing, this will be the big difference between someone picking between Nike and Skechers. So it's something you want to keep into consideration. On top of that, it's very flexible. You know, you have the flexibility to tweak the product based on customer feedback, market demand. This adaptability can significantly be an advantage when it comes to staying ahead of the competition. So that's definitely something you also want to keep to consider as well. Now, why do you want to sell on Amazon? Because there are a lot of different platforms that you can sell and apply this private labeling method to. Is because Amazon's huge. You know, Amazon is an established brand. You don't really have to focus on marketing too much when it comes to selling on Amazon. You do have to invest in marketing and paid advertising, but it's a lot different versus having to create a website, build up the trust for that website, build up the branding, and then get to the point where you're actually generating traffic. Since Amazon is already a powerhouse and one of the, if not the biggest e-commerce platform in the world, there are billions of people using Amazon every single day. So the opportunities for your product to be seen and to be sold more often are a lot higher versus any other marketplace. So how do you get started with private label? So first, you want to identify your niche. What is your product going to be? You know, the first time when you first get started, you do want to focus on having a niche, and your niche can be anywhere between, you know, kitchen stuff, electronics, gadgets, home decor. Like, what is your niche going to be? What are you interested in it? What can you afford to start off as investing in? Because as your store grows and you release more products, then you can invest in new niches, new categories, and explore, you know, more options and variety as you expand your product category. But to get started, what's going to be your ideal niche? Now, ideally, you want to check out the tools like Amazon's bestseller, do some keyword research so you can figure out and gain some more insights as to what's the popular products right now and what's selling consistently in today's market. You want to research your suppliers. Now, there's a lot of different suppliers, there's a lot of different marketplaces where you can find reliable suppliers as well. But once you've chosen a product that you want to sell, it's time to find a reliable manufacturer or a supplier for that product. And you want to make sure that they add some kind of customization to it as well, so you can add your own branding. Platforms like Alibaba or Global Sources can be a good starting point. I've personally started my own brands on AliExpress, on Alibaba, as well. This Alibaba is an amazing platform where you can find so many different places. AliExpress is another platform as well, but they mostly focus on drop shipping suppliers. So Alibaba is the one where you can actually get wholesale manufacturers and get a little bit more of that customization as well. So once you have your suppliers, once you've identified your niche, you have your suppliers, next you're going to create your brand. Think about your brand's identity. What values and messages do you want it to convey? Do you want to be considered a luxury product? Do you want to be considered something that's more of an affordable product? Do you want to be like, how do you want to be positioned in the marketplace? What kind of logo do you want to make? What kind of catchy brand name can you come up with? What kind of packaging and presentation can you have for your product? These are all things that go into play and also matter when it comes to being able to actually price your product, because the better branding you have, the higher you can price your products in general. So after you have that figured out, now you're going to set up your account. Setting up the account is not that hard. You're going to create an Amazon seller account, ensuring that you pick the private label option. Familiarize yourself with the Amazon platform. What are the guidelines? What are the policies? And make sure you avoid anything that can get you in trouble. Now, one thing you need to keep into consideration about selling on Amazon is that you can only create one store per social security that you have. And if you mess up that store, you can be suspended for a couple of years and not be able to resell again. So you need to make it extremely important that you follow their seller guidelines, their policies, and you provide amazing customer service and support, because customer service is Amazon's bread and butter. That is what they're known for, and they do not fuck around when it comes to the quality of their customer service. If you cannot keep up with the customer service, if you cannot keep up with returns, if you cannot keep up with sending items within certain time frames of shipping, they will ban your account, they will close you, and you will not be able to sell on Amazon at all. So that's something you need to really keep into consideration. Once your store is established, you're going to list your products and you're going to optimize the listings to make sure that it shows all the highlights and the qualities of your product. It looks clear, it's concise, it's easy for everybody to understand, and you have quality product photography that represents your brand in the best possible way. After that, you just launch and you promote. You start investing into some ads, you start investing in collecting reviews, you engage with your customers, you continuously optimize your listing, and you look for new feedback and figure out how to improve your overall performance metrics. That's simply how you start your Amazon private label journey. It's not too crazy, it's not too complicated, but it does take time to learn how to navigate Amazon's marketplace and figure out how to find suppliers that are trustworthy and getting your product from your supplier to Amazon. These things take time, so you need to keep that into consideration as well. To give you an example, when I first started selling on Amazon private label, it took a month and a half for my product to reach for my product to leave my supplier and reach Amazon FBA as far as being checked in and ready to actually sell and make money. So these are things you need to keep into consideration, and there are a lot of factors that can play in whether or not your supplier can send your products out in a timely manner. Remember, you're working with international suppliers. If you can find US-based suppliers, that's great too, but a majority of the time, if you want to get good profit margins and you want to get products for a good price, you're going to have to outsource to international suppliers, because that's where the best product pricing is. So now, once you get started on selling on FBA, you have two options. You can either do Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, or you can do Amazon FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant. Now, FBA is a program that allows sellers to send their products directly to Amazon's warehouse, and Amazon stores inventory, ships it directly to the customer, offers 2-day prime shipping, which is a huge factor in making sales, and manages customer support as far as returns and all that good stuff. It has huge advantages because prime shipping is the number one reason that's going to influence whether or not you make more sales or not. Customer service as well. Amazon is very on top of that stuff. And it's even better that you let them deal with it, because then you have less fuck-ups on your end, which is going to decrease the likelihood of them closing your account. On top of that, Amazon stores all your products for you, so you don't have to leave them in your garage. You don't have to dedicate a new room. You don't have to get a whole office or a warehouse to store your stuff. But you need to keep into consideration that Amazon does provide all these services, but they do charge you for it. And the fees can range. An example for me would be I pay about $12 in Amazon fees for everything, for all the products that I sell. For every product that I sell, a specific product, I'll give you an example. So I get the product for about $7 each unit. Obviously, I have to buy it bulk. And on top of that, I also have to pay the $10 Amazon fees. So I have to pay $17 on top to actually get the product. That same product, I sell it for $30. So I have a profit margin of about $12 after that. And after I reinvest into marketing and a couple other fees and taxes, you only get about $8 profit. But you got to remember that this is $8 times 500 units being sold, 1,000 units being sold. Like people are spending thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a day on Amazon. So the traffic and the audience that they have is insane. So it is not unheard of for brands to be sold by the 1,000 units per month. That is not unheard of whatsoever, even by per day. So you want to keep that into consideration. Yeah, they might be small profit margins, but you're selling hundreds and hundreds of units a day. So, the profit margins are high. If you sell 100 units for $8 each, as far as profit margins go, you're still making $800 in a day. Where else are you making $800 in a day without even handling the fucking inventory? Like, you got to realize that's pretty fucking crazy to think about. So the second option would be fulfilled by merchant. Now, this is another program by Amazon as well. You get to pick between whether you want to do FBA or not. Now, the one thing you want to keep into consideration as well is that this is where you're not sending your products to Amazon's warehouses. Instead, you're having the products from the suppliers be sent out to you. You have control over everything. You have control over the entire sale and shipping process. You also have a little bit more flexibility as far as being able to play with the products, and you're not going to be charged as much. But keep in mind is that one of the considerations you want to know is that you're not going to be a prime seller, so you're not going to be able to provide that 2-day shipping, which is a huge factor. Customer service is going to be solely on you, so if you lag it or make mistakes, Amazon could be a higher chance of them closing your account. So those are things you want to keep into consideration. As far as, the second thing is you also don't have to worry about paying as high of a fee versus the FBA fees. That's also something you want to keep into consideration as well. But if you're looking to set your business up on autopilot and build up systems that just make it easy and eventually get to passive income, you want to go down the FBA route. So how do you find winning products? What's the criteria that you should look for when it comes to finding winning products? Well, keep in mind that there are plenty of softwares out there that can actually help you figure this out. But first, you want to figure out what the market demand is. The product should have a consistent and growing demand. Tools like Google Trends, Amazon bestsellers list, and keyword research tools can provide insights into what's popular, what are people looking for, what are people buying right now. You can also use that to figure out what is selling later on down the line. They have plenty of tools that give insights as far as what's really popular during December, what's really popular during January, what's popular during Halloween. Like, there's a lot of things that you can capitalize on as far as seasons and certain promotions that happen around certain times of the year that you can actually figure out through these types of Google Trends and bestsellers analytical tools, and especially the tools that I'm going to show you guys towards the end of this. So another thing you want to keep into consideration is low competition. While high demand is essential and you want to make sure that people are looking and buying your stuff, it's also equally critical to ensure that the market isn't oversaturated. Products with fewer competition can offer better profit margins and a higher chance of success. The less competition you have, the more sales you're going to make, and the more you can actually play with the price. Because when you're competing with a lot of people, you also have to compete with their pricing, which means that might mess with your profit margins. Third, you want to make sure that you have good profit margins. Obviously, you want to make this worth it. Ideally, your profit margin should be above $6 at least, but the best case should be over $10, if I'm being quite honest. $10 is a nice sweet spot because it's just easier to keep track of sales. I know for a fact that my profit margins are $10 each sale. I have to sell 30 a day and I'll get 300. And if I get 300 a day consistently every day, then I'll be reaching 6 figures in profit. That's something that you want to keep into consideration as well. You want to make sure the products are easy to source. Like I said, we have Alibaba, which is a good place to find and source products. AliExpress is another place to find products and figure out what their suppliers are. There's a bunch of different places where you can find suppliers. So you want to make sure that they're easy to source. You want to make sure they're reliable, that they're verified sellers, and that you're not going to send somebody your money and get screwed over. Because at the end of the day, remember, you are working with international sellers. So there's not really any legal bind if you don't know what you're doing or if you send their money to the wrong place. That's extremely important to keep into consideration. You also want to make sure that the products are lightweight and durable, so it's cheap to ship. Because remember, you are paying for these products to be shipped internationally, and shipping can be costly depending on how heavy your product is. It can also be delayed. You know, if you're selling something that's extremely heavy, you're not going to be able to provide air shipping. It's going to have to be sea shipping, which is going to be a huge difference in the delivery time by almost a month or two. So that's something you want to keep into consideration as far as how light it is and how easily can it be shipped. And lastly, you want to make sure that's not a seasonal product. Like I said, seasonal products are cool to sell, and they're cool to jump on the party with once you have a good steady income of profit margins with general products that are consistently selling all year round. But don't mess with seasonal products until later on, because they can be a great way to boost up your sales for a short period of time. But if you're investing in seasonal products for a year-round sale, you can be stuck with a lot of inventory, and you're still going to have to pay Amazon for the storages. So you want to keep that into consideration. Now, lastly, there's a bunch of different tools that you can use when it comes to figuring out how to optimize your listings, how to find winning products, how to find winning suppliers. There is a bunch, but these three are the big guys in the game. They have extremely wow softwares, the Valve. They've been in the game for a long time. They have a huge supportive community, and they have a lot to offer as far as within the platforms itself. So Jungle Scout is huge. It's amazing. It's been a powerful Amazon tool that's been around for the longest time. Helium 10 is another huge platform that is worth the investment. Keep in mind that these platforms are not that cheap, but the tools are powerful and they will save you a bunch of time. So I highly recommend you consider it. And also, since we're on the topic, and Viral Launch is another product that is equally as good as Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. But if I'm being honest, Helium 10 is the head honcho. That's the number one thing that most of the people that are doing this are talking about. So you might want to keep that into consideration as well. It is also not cheap. But since we're on the subject, keep in consideration that starting this business model is not something where it's not a cheap business model to start. It requires initial investment. You have to do product research. You have to invest in product because you have to buy products in bulk first. You have to buy samples. You might buy a product, it may not sell. So it is a risky venture, and it's only recommended to pursue once you have another established business or another primary source of income. And this is going to be something that you work to build on as an additional source. That being said, once it's established and you have a winning product, you are basically printing money with this business model. So it is extremely lucrative, but you have to figure out how to get past the learning curve, and it will take time. So you need to keep that into consideration. Okay, so what are some winning products to keep into consideration? Home and kitchen essentials like silicone baking mats, bamboo cutlery sets, reusable food storage bags are high in demand due to the practicality and eco-friendly appeal. Instead of people having to pay for 10 million Ziploc bags, they can just buy food storage bags, and they're going to consistently rebuy them because they last longer. Health and personal care, essential oils, natural skincare products, and posture correctors are popular in the health and wellness niche. People are always trying to figure out how to make themselves better, how to make themselves healthier, and that's why, that's always an in-demand type of niche. Sports and outdoors, fitness-related products like resistance bands, yoga mats, and collapsible water bottles cater to the health consumer market. Very popular as well. Toys and games, electrical accessories, fashion stuff, pet products, phone accessories like cases, laptop accessories. Like, there is a bunch of different winning products that you can look into, but you have to do your research and you have to invest in those softwares that are going to help you figure out how to find winning products and what's selling the most, because those softwares that I had mentioned will give you all the analytical data, will give you all the supplier information, and will give you all the sales information from the products and the listings on Amazon. So I also wanted to show you a couple of examples on what you could be selling and what are some things that people do sell. So I wanted to show you guys how Alibaba.com works so you guys can get a better idea as far as how you can find suppliers, what the profit margins look like, and what the Amazon listing looks like, and as far as what sales can look like when it comes to selling certain products. Now, as you can tell, I changed my shirt, and the reason why is because we ended up having technical difficulties with the original video. So I had to do some editing, and I had to remake certain portions of the video so it makes sense. So that's why I changed shirts all of a sudden. The video kind of slightly changed like halfway through it, and it's going to eventually change back, but I did have to edit a certain section. So here's Alibaba.com. Now we're going to be covering the home and garden section. As you can see, they have a bunch of different items that you can purchase from. And if you're looking at the price points right here, they're relatively cheap. You're not going to be able to find this price point at Walmart, Target, or Amazon.com. But the reason why is because these are the suppliers and the manufacturers that actually make the product. So you're getting the product at what it costs at resources and the small labor cost behind it. There's not really much profit margins when it comes to that, when it comes to purchasing these products from the specific suppliers. Now, because they're selling it to you at such a discounted rate, you do have to have an MOQ. You do have to have a specific MOQ. Now, MOQ stands for MOQ stands for minimum order quality, meaning that you have to buy a specific amount of products in order to get them at that discounted rate. Now, usually that usually is anywhere between 50 to 100 to get started, and then as you buy more, you'll be able to get them at a discounted rate. An example would be if you wanted to get this mop for $285, then you're more likely going to have to buy 50 of them. But if you buy 200 of them, you might be able to get it for $265, $250, something like that, which is going to increase your profit margins. And it may not seem like it's much, but when you're making $2,000 or $3,000 in sales a month, that extra 25 cents can be a huge difference. It can be the difference between hundreds of dollars. So you want to keep that into consideration. So let's go ahead and dive deep in. Let's explore a couple of different examples so you guys can get an idea of what you can sell on here. So on Amazon, let's go ahead and explore some posture correctors. Now, these are very popular. Thousands of these are being sold each month, and it is a very lucrative product that you can sell. Now, as you can see, when it comes to looking up them right now, the first thing you're going to notice is a sponsorship. So as you can see right here, this specific brand, now up right, looking at the product right here, the branding right here, this is a private label brand. And what they're doing is they're investing in marketing to get a quick little banner at the top of the page right here, this whole little section that's going to show you them first, so you're more influenced when you make your purchase. Not only do they sell posture correctors, but they have a bunch of different options when it comes to products to buy. I guarantee you that this right here is a private label product. Now, if we were to scroll down slightly a little bit more, this is going to be the sponsored product. So these are other people that invested in marketing as well, and because of that, they're paying to be sponsored, so that way you can see the top ranking list. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but when it comes to the ranking on Amazon, the people that are ranked at the top are usually going to be the ones that make the most sales, because people don't have time or the patience to be scrolling down to the second, third, fourth page to find the best deal. Usually they're going to make a decision on the first 8 products that they see, which is going to be the first top 2 rows. So you want to keep that into consideration as well. But as you can see, these products are making sales. Yes, they're going for about $20. These is the average $20 to $35, and they're selling about $10,300, $3,200. So they're making sales, and they're consistently selling this product, whether they're paying for sponsored or not. Now, as you can see, these ones are not even sponsored, and they're still making in $9,600, $2,000, $1,000 in profits and sales. So as you can see, there is a lot of opportunity for you to make money. Now, here are some lower ranked items that are 4-star picks, but they're still making about 10,000 sales a month, 200 sales a month, 600 sales a month, 2,000 sales a month. So there still is a lot of opportunity for you to make money for these products, even if they're not the best ranked products. Now let's go ahead and check it out. So how much are you outsourcing this specific product for? So as you can see on AliExpress, they have Alibaba. As you can see, they have a bunch of different suppliers that you can pick from. But the average price point that somebody is outsourcing this specific product is anywhere between $2 and $6 right here. So $2 and $6. The sweet spot looks about $3.50, $4. So let's just say about $4. If you want to add customization to the specific product, you want to make sure the suppliers that you're working with will allow you to add customization, so you can actually pursue the private labeling, and you can add your own branding to the product itself. Now, typically there is a surcharge on this. It'll be usually anywhere between $1 to $2 to add your brand for each product. So let's just say on average you're getting a product for $4, and then you're adding your branding for about $6. So it costs $6 for you to outsource this product. On top of that, you have to worry about paying Amazon fees, because Amazon does charge you a fee for selling on their platform, for inventory and all that stuff. So let's just say you're selling this product for about $25, and you're outsourcing it for $6, and the fees that you have to pay are about $10. So the total cost of outsourcing is about $16. That's how much it actually costs to list the product and actually purchase it, right? And let's just do shipping as well, shipping including. So let's just say about $18 is what you're selling this product, is what it costs to get this product fulfilled and sent to Amazon, right? $18, but you're selling it for about $25. So you're selling it for about $25. That leaves room for about $7 profit, right? $7, it doesn't seem like much, but let's just say you're selling about 1,000 of those units a month. And as you can see, that's not unheard of. We got people selling for 2,000, 600, 200, 10,000. It really just depends on the product, right? So let's just say you're making about 1,000 sales a month. So with that specific product alone, if you were to do some quick math, 1,000 sales at $7, that's still $7,000 you're bringing in a month. That's almost 6 figures from this one product. And if you're selling 3 products that are having that are having similar profit margins, you're easily making 6 figures. So let's explore a couple different other items. So here's a yoga mat. These are extremely popular as well. As you can see, 100 baht, 10K baht in the past month, 100 baht, 100 baht, 400 baht. They're selling these by the hundreds. People are by the thousands, actually. People are buying these consistently. So how much are people getting these outsourced for? So let's see. We got a couple different products right here, a couple different yoga mats. So as you can see, these yoga mats are being outsourced for about $3, $4, $5, anywhere between like, $5 or $6. Let's just say we add some customization to it. And let's be a little bit more challenging, right? So let's just say these yoga mats, you're getting them outsourced for about $10. That includes customization. Plus, you have another $10 in Amazon fees. So it costs about $20 for you to outsource this specific product. So let's just see if you have any profit margin for this product. Okay, so let's just say this one here is going for $26. $59, $29, $36. So let's just say on average you're doing about $10 profit. You're doing about $10 profit. Let's make it even more challenging. You're doing about $5 profit. So it costs you $20 to outsource this product. You're reselling that specific product for about $25. So the profit margins are about $5. So even if you were to sell this product 500 times, what's 5 times 500? That's still $2,500 profit that you're making in profit margins each month. Do this with 3 other yoga mats, now you're making 6 figures. That's how simple this is. I know it's kind of mind-blowing to really wrap your head around, but that's how simple this business model is, and that's how much profit you can actually make from these products. All right, let's explore some other ones. We got some water bottles right here. A lot of these different water bottles are going for about $24. On average, it looks like they're going for about $10. So let's just say $10, $20. Let's just go and play with. These are definitely some private labels right here. You can tell because they don't even have their logo on the fucking product. It's just in the box right here. And even this one, this looks like something that they were able to just laser engrave. So these two for sure are private labels, right? These are private label products right here for sure. So let's try to find something very similar to this right here, this black one right here. Let's see. Oh, here we are right here. That was pretty straightforward. Okay, so we found almost the identical product that was being sold right there. This product is being outsourced for about $4.20. Now let's add an extra $2 on there for the customization. So this product is being outsourced for about $650. Let's just say $650. This product is being outsourced for about $650 for that customization. Now this person is reselling that specific product for $24, and he has sold 2,000 of them in the past month. So $650 plus we got Amazon fees. Let's just add $10 worth of Amazon fees. So this person is paying about $17 to get this product outsourced and shipped to their customer. But they're selling about 2,000 of these a month. So let's just some quick profit margins over here. So let's see, 25 minus 17. The profit margins right there are about $8, but they're selling 2,000 of these a month times 2,000. This person is making $16,000 profit each month from these specific water bottles. Now, obviously, the price points are different as far as what they're selling them for, but if you were to do some quick math, even if they were to just do half the profit margins for the sales, they're still making anywhere between, I think it's about $8,000 a month. So there's some good profit margins with this business model. And there's a lot of different products that you can sell that are extremely profitable. So let's do one last one as a quick example. So here is some silicone baking mats. Now, as you can see, these are some more low ticket items. They sell for about $10. Let's just say $10, $20, $15. Let's just say, to be fair, about $12 is the price point. How much is this person getting this outsourced for? These people are getting these outsourced for about 50 cents, 75 cents, $2 on the high end. But it's mostly, if I'm being honest, if you guys are looking at the math, it's mostly $1 or less. But even if we were going on the high profit part, let's just say $3 plus an extra $1 for customization. This person is getting this outsourced for about $4. Plus they have to worry about $8 in Amazon fees. So 4 plus 8, $12 and how much it costs to outsource. And they're selling it for about $20, let's just say, or $16 for this example. So it costs $12 to outsource. They're selling it for $16. That means the profit margins there are about $4, but they're selling 6,000 of these a month. So what is 4 times 6,000? That's $24,000 a month that this person is making in profit for this specific product. So as you guys can see, like I said this a million different times, this business model is extremely lucrative. You just have to understand how to create products that sell really well, and you need to master the marketing aspect of it. So let's go ahead and continue from the slides. Okay, so how do you find reliable suppliers? First, you want to start off with online platforms like Alibaba Global Sources. Thomasnet is a place where you can find U.S. suppliers, depending on what kind of suppliers you want. Now, Alibaba is the head honcho. That's the one that most people use. As you can see for the examples that I just showed you guys, Alibaba is what I use for reference. So that's a big boy that you want to use. After that, you want to initiate communication. You want to reach out to them and let them know that you're interested in working with them. You're interested in selling their products. You want to figure out what their minimum order is. Their minimum order, like we had seen, some of them it's 100, some of them it's 50. You want to figure out what their production capacity is, if they can do any customization, and what their payment terms are as far as what do they accept payment for. You want to also request samples because you want to make sure that the product lives up to the expectations. You want to make sure that it's a quality product, and you also want to order samples so you can take some product photography so you can go ahead and use that to optimize your listing and add those lifestyle pictures. You want to start off with a small order to see how it moves in the marketplace, and as you make those sales, you can reinvest your profit margins until you're basically, have enough where you can reinvest and then take a cut of it, and it's not that big of a deal. Ideally, that's how you want to set up. So start off with a small order, and then you'll work your way up. So a couple red flags you want to look out for when it comes to talking to suppliers is their lack of transparency. If they're not telling you something, or if they're being really short, or you're getting a vibe that, I don't know, just listen to it, find somebody else. If it's too good to be true as far as the pricing goes, like if it's extremely low and it just doesn't make sense compared to what everybody else is giving you, then they're probably going to scam you, so don't do that as well. You want to make sure that they're also a verified seller on Alibaba if you use that platform. You want to make sure that they have good reviews. You want to do your research. And lastly, poor communication. You want to make sure that you work with a supplier who communicates on a timely manner, that they're not going to just ghost you, because I've had that experience with me as well. So make sure that they are consistent when they reply to you, and they do it in a timely manner. So how do you start creating a memorable brand? So now you got the product, now you just got to figure out how to make a brand, right? A brand that's actually worth paying for, that people actually want to buy. How do you actually do that? Well, first you need to figure out what your mission statement is. What is the purpose of your brand? What kind of experience are you trying to give your customers? What are your values? What do the values of your business stand for? What is your clear mission statement? That's what you got to figure out what your brand is all about. Once you figure it out what it's all about, you need to figure out who your target audience is. Who are you selling it to? Understanding your targeted audience, your audience's preferences, their pain points, and their desires can shape your brand's voice and message and image, because you want to create a brand that's catered to your targeted audience. So you want to choose a catchy name, ensure that it's unique, it's consistent, and you want to trademark it for protection to make sure no one steals it. Design a recognizable logo, something that's simple and it reflects your brand in the best possible way. Develop a consistent brand voice. Determine your brand's tone and maintain a consistency along all communications. Pay attention to the packaging. Use your packaging as a way to convey your brand's quality, and consider eco-friendly options for the people who have values that line up with eco-friendly products and branding. Build an online presence. Make sure that you have an established website that has credibility. Make sure you have an engaging social media account. Make sure you're on social media, you're creating content, you're engaging with your followers. You want to focus on building your brand. Even though you're starting an Amazon private label, you're starting a full-fledged brand and you're leveraging Amazon's platform. Eventually, once you get big enough, you can move to different platforms and you can sell your products, like on Amazon, on Walmart's marketplace. You can sell on Walmart, you can sell on eBay, you can sell on a lot of different places, even your own social media accounts. So you want to make sure that you have an online presence and you want to be consistent with it. Consistency is key, like we talked about. Branding is all about consistency across all your touch points, across all your platforms, through all of your different products. You want to protect your brand. You want to make sure that your brand is registered as a trademark. You want to utilize Amazon's brand registry and monitor your brand's online presence to make sure people are not doing counterfeit products, make sure people are not stealing your ideas, and make sure somebody is not trying to profit or benefit off your created brand by doing duplicates or something like that, because it can happen. So you want to protect your brand, trademarks, Amazon brand registry, and monitor and act like we talked about. So brand registry and trademark, like we talked about, protecting your brand is critical in e-commerce world, because people are always trying to scam. People are always looking for short, easy ways to grab cash. So with the rise of counterfeit products and brand impersonations, it's essential to have the mechanics in place to safeguard your brand's integrity, your reputation, and intellectual property. Because you don't want somebody else here to be giving your brand a bad name because they're selling counterfeits and they're taking shortcuts and they're giving bad customer service and whatever other reason that is. So make sure that you do Amazon's brand registry, which is a program within Amazon that allows you to do all the branding with them. And they even give you with all the lawyers and everything that's needed to actually get the branding done. So it gives you increased control. It gives you advanced search tools. It gives you more marketing access it also gives you more options to do better marketing as well. You also want to take some time and eventually trademark your brand as well, so you can give your certain products exclusive rights, your logo exclusive rights, and make sure that, you can actually sue someone if they do try to commit fraudulent on your product, on your brand, and they try to do something that represents your brand in a negative way. So how do you optimize your listing? A big part of selling on Amazon is understanding how to optimize your listings. If your listings are not optimized in the right way, just like if your website isn't optimized in the right way when it comes to web design, people are not going to be able to find it on search engines. When people go on Amazon and they look up whatever you're selling, you're not going to be ranked as the top if your listings are not optimized. So how do you optimize the listing? First, you want to make sure you have a good title. You want to incorporate main keywords that potential customers might use to search your product. So like if you're selling, silicone floor, if you're selling silicone cooking mats, you want to make sure that silicone is in there. You want to make sure that cooking is in there. You want to make sure that mats is in there. Like you want to make sure that the keywords that people are going to search up for your product are in the title. You want to make sure that it's clear and concise. Ensure the title clearly describes the product and is not overly lengthy. You want to highlight its unique selling point. If there's some kind of unique selling point for your product, consider including that in the title. That can be like, an example could be, let's just say you're selling like high-end silicone mats and it shows in the product, in the fabric. You can put something like high-end silicone luxury cooking mats. Something like that where it's going to just make it stand out just a little bit. Product images, you want to make sure that you use high-quality images. You want to make sure that it's clear and it shows your product and the branding of your product on the product. You want to make sure you include lifestyle images, people using the product, your product being used practically so customers can have a better idea on how they would use your product. And you want to use infographics and highlight key features or instructions. This would be like whenever you go on Amazon and you look at like the product and it'll have something where like it has like an arrow pointing out the features and it kind of shows like what it is. That's what those infographics are. Bullet points and description. Instead of just doing features, explain how it can actually benefit the user. Give them exact situations, explain certain stories, like have fun with it. Use keyword optimization, naturally incorporate relevant keywords without using keyword stuffing, Like I said, just using your words correctly, making sure that, the words that people are going to use to search up your product are shown in the description, are shown throughout the product title, are shown through the backword keywords. Like, those are all things that are very important to help your product get ranked. Back-end keywords. So those are the keywords that you're going to plug in the back of the listing. These are keywords that are basically going to help Amazon understand what your product is, what it is about, and all the other stuff that was not included in the description or the title. These are all the extra things that people are going to look up, but they're not going to look up for directly, but it'll still come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that you want to focus on. And lastly, reviews and questions and answers. You want to answer as many questions as possible, and you want to encourage as much as reviews as possible. Reviews are the bread and butter of Amazon. The more reviews you have, the more sales you will have, the more trust you will have, the more in general, the higher ranked your listing will be. So you want to make sure that you have as many reviews and answer any questions that customers ask you. Remember, Amazon loves their customer service. That is the number one thing that they pay attention to when it comes to monetizing sellers. Besides selling crappy products and scammers and counterfeits and stuff, they focus on customer service. And reviews is a great way to show Amazon that you know what the fuck you're doing, you're not scamming people, and your customers love you. So how do you start marketing on Amazon once you actually have your product listed, you have it optimized, and you're good to go? So first, Amazon has a bunch of different programs. That's ideally how you do it right now. That's the best way to get it. Like we had seen sponsored ads. I had showed you a couple examples of the sponsored ads. We even got to see how much sales they were making. The sponsored ads were in the thousands of sales per month, so compared to the ones that weren't. So that's something you want to keep into consideration. You also want to do sponsored brands. You can promote your brand up to 3 products on Amazon's website as well. You can also invest in, they do like branding pages. You can do branding pages for Amazon, private labeling as well if you register with their branding services. Amazon has sponsored displays as well, where like you can retarget people who looked at your product but they didn't make a commitment, or you can retarget people who looked up similar products to yours and they didn't make a commitment, which means that they're still interested, they just haven't decided. So that's another thing you can do. And then, like I said, creating Amazon branding stores, which is a branded landing page where you can showcase all your product listings, your product category, all the highlights, and all that good stuff. And on top of that, just doing promotions, lightning deals, buy one get one, coupons. These are all great ways to entice people to want to pick your product versus somebody else's. So that's something you want to keep into consideration as well. So, like I said, collecting and managing reviews, that's the bread and butter. The more reviews you have, the more content, the more Amazon will push out your products, the better listing and ranking you will have, the more people will trust your product, and the more people will buy it. You want to enhance brand content by leveraging their branding programs that Amazon has to offer. And then just don't be afraid to check out external factors for marketing, like social media marketing, creating a marketing page, creating a social media branding page like we talked about, having a website, doing email marketing, doing influencer collaborations, doing affiliate marketing for your specific products, like doing search engine optimization for your website. Like these are a bunch of different ways where you can start building up more traffic without having to leverage Amazon's platforms or their marketing programs as well. There's a lot of different ways. So what are the best softwares that you want to use? So you want to consider the budget, how much it costs. Like I said, a lot of these Amazon tools are kind of expensive, but they are worth it because you get so much insights. And like we said, this is an investment, like versus doing a lot of other things. If you were to buy a product and it doesn't sell, you're actually putting in $500. You're actually putting in $600, $1,000, depending on what you're buying. So if you don't do the proper research and you don't have a good understanding on what sells and what doesn't, you will invest money and you will lose it. So you want to make sure you invest in the proper platforms and the proper softwares to make sure that you're not investing in products that are just going to sit there, that are not going to perform, because in the end, that's going to cost you more money than investing in a product, than investing in some type of software or something. But like we talked about, you want to make sure that they also have good needs. It identifies specific needs for your business. The integration tools, if you can integrate it with your Amazon account, it'll give you some more live time data. So that's something you want to keep into consideration as well. As far as the usability, of course, if it's going to be expensive, you want to make sure that you're actually using it, because it doesn't make sense to pay $150 for a software that you use 3 times, unless those 3 times you use it, you're finding a product that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars, then it is fucking worth it. So, mindset, you just got to figure it out. You got to make it make sense. Like we talked about, product research and market analytics, Helium 10 is the head honcho. Jungle Scout follows right underneath them. Feedback and video reviews. Feedback Whiz is a way where you can actually, when someone purchases a product from you, you can send them an email outside of Amazon that basically tells them that they can leave a review. It's a very powerful tool that could actually help you get a lot of reviews, so it is worth investing in. And then inventory management, if you're going to go down the if you're going to be going down the non-FBA route, then Restock Pro is a really good way for you to keep track of your suppliers, keep track of your inventory needs, and manage shipments to make sure that you're not falling behind any of Amazon's metrics or policies when it comes to you actually fulfilling the products itself and sending it out yourself. So what are some common problems when it comes to selling on Amazon? So one of the problems that people have is too much competition. It's not in demand. Their product isn't selling, So you want to make sure that you conduct thorough research using tools like Jungle Scout or Helium 10. Look for products that are high in demand but low competition. Another issue might be quality issues. Always order samples. Make sure that you do small orders before you do anything big, and make sure that you build relationships with your suppliers to consider, or even consider inspection services to check out on suppliers as well. That's something you can actually invest in, which are basically companies that'll go to your manufacturer's factories and make sure that they're actually doing everything up to code and they're fitting the quality of standard that you're looking for. Listing visibility, like I said, you want to make sure your listings are optimized. You want to invest in ads so you can get more people for your stores. Receiving negative reviews can be another bad thing as well that people have to worry about, but you just want to address the negative reviews promptly. Consider reaching out to the customer to figure out how to resolve the issue so they can get rid of it, and encourage the satisfied customers to leave positive reviews, because those positive reviews will outweigh the negatives. Inventory management, you want to make sure you don't run out of stock. Amazon is pretty good at letting you know that, but there's also a bunch of other tools like Restock Pro that can help you monitor sales trends and monitor inventory. Let's see, high return rates. If customers are giving you high return rates, then you gotta make sure that your quality of your product is being reached. If it isn't, then you might have to reach out to the manufacturer. You might have to find a new supplier. Like, there's a lot of different things, and you might, unfortunately, if you didn't do your proper research and you didn't invest in the samples, then it might be a loss, and you might just have to find a whole new product to sell. It happens. It's business. It's investing. It's just part of the game sometimes. Let's see. Account suspension. Like I said, you need to familiar yourself with Amazon's policies, because if you are suspended, you will not be allowed to sell for a couple years, and it's kind of a big deal because Amazon is a huge platform and there are a lot of opportunities to make money, so don't fuck that up. Competitor issues. You want to use, so this is another huge thing too. If you have a lot of competition, you might want to consider using repricing tools, which are essentially tools that automatically adjust the pricing according to what you put as the max and the minimum, to basically help you compete as the other competition lowers their pricing as well. So that way you can kind of just compete with their pricing and, help customers figure out whether they're going to pick you or not, not just based off pricing. So that's one thing that you can use as well. That's also very powerful. It's mostly used for wholesaling, but it can also be used for private label. So yeah, what are my final thoughts on this is just going to be, you got to make sure that you stay hungry. Amazon private label is not just selling products. It's about building a brand. It's about building a brand that resonates with your customers. It's about your customer experience. It's about building relationships with suppliers. It's about learning, overcoming challenges, figuring out what are new opportunities, understanding how the platforms work, consistently learning, and doing your research. Remember, you want to do quality products over quantity products. You want to focus on providing nothing but the best customer service around. You want to be adaptability. You want to leverage all the e-commerce landscapes, all the different marketplaces, and really just figure out what's working for you and make adjustments as you go. And consider diversification. Amazon is a powerful platform, but there's a bunch of other ones like Amazon, like Walmart Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, eBay, Instagram Store, TikTok Shop. Like, there's a lot of other places where you can sell. And lastly, just always make sure that you practice ethical business practices, Make sure that you're not selling cheap products. Make sure you're not taking any shortcuts, because as you provide quality products and the best customer service, it's going to reflect on your brand, and it can help you create a multi-million-dollar brand. Like, you got to think big. Yeah, it might be slow to start off a year from now, but things can take off and your whole life can change 2 or 3 years from now from the work you put in this year. So just keep that in consideration, that it's going to be consistent challenge. You're gonna have a huge learning curve to overcome. It's not going to happen when you want it to, because it never does. But if you're consistent, if you put in work, if you stay hungry, and if you don't give up when times get tough, you will have a successful business and you will be making 6 figures in no time. So stay hungry. As always, I believe in you guys. You got this. Do what you got to do to take yourself to the next level, and you will never be broke.